Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Kara if you don't know me. I am currently living in the Dominican Republic. I moved here in August 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, so I was in the United States before that. Today I wanted to compare a little bit between the United States and the Dominican Republic in terms of what they're doing to help prevent and to help fight against the spread of the coronavirus. So first of all, one similarity is masks. I think it's gotten a little less strict in the United States since I've been there, but still here you're expected to wear a mask or at least a face covering when you leave the house, whether you're just walking in the streets or in the grocery store or in another public area. You are supposed to be wearing your mask. Now, of course, just like in the United States, there are people who don't wear them correctly. There are people who take them off, like if you're just outside and nobody's around. But that's the rule. That's what we're supposed to be following. So that's pretty similar, I think, to the US. I know some places people don't wear masks anymore, which is kind of crazy to me, but it is what it is. The second thing I wanted to talk about, which is very different in the United States, is that here we have a curfew. Now, I know that might not make any sense, but nightlife is a large part of the culture, and so the government decided to add a curfew to help cut down on that extra contact that people might be exposing themselves to by going out at night. So when I arrived here, the curfew went from 7 p.m. on weekdays to 5 a.m. and on weekends it started at 5 p.m. and went till 5 a.m. Now, for the past month or so, they have extended the curfew a little bit longer. So instead of 7 p.m. on weekdays, it's now 9 p.m. And instead of 5 p.m. on weekends, it's now 7 p.m. So for me personally, just that little change has been like pretty nice. And yes, it still might sound strict to people not living here, but for me, it really hasn't been a problem. I don't go out that much at nights anyways. I don't really have a reason to. So that has been the biggest part that has been different here than from the United States. So with the curfew, obviously there are exceptions. Drivers have to have a permit to go out after hours, and things that can get you a permit is if you are going to or from the airport. I know that I arrived really late at night, like in the middle of the night, and it was perfectly fine that the driver was able to pick me up from the airport. So obviously it's not super strict, but if you are out past the curfew, you will have a difficult time finding an Uber or any sort of public transportation home. And I've heard that you will go to prison if you stay out after hours. So yes, it's stricter in some areas, more so than others, but as always, definitely I would recommend following the rules. So the third thing I wanted to compare is schools. I'm a teacher. I came here to teach at a private school, and when I came here, I really did not know if I would be teaching classes in person or completely virtual. The school did not know either because we were all waiting on the Minister of Education to make an announcement. That announcement finally came at the end of August, and they announced that the start of the school year would be November 2nd and it would be completely virtual. So when I heard that, it seemed completely crazy to me because how can you just move the first day of school 2 to 3 months later in the year? But what turned out happening is that for my school being a private school, they were allowed to start before that date if they were prepared. So the government made that starting date for the public schools in order to be able to have time to prepare the proper technological resources to people all throughout the country so that kids could still attend school and so that teachers would be able to share their classes on TV and radio, I think. So that's why they pushed the start date back so far. But my school still started in September, the beginning of September, and we are completely virtual. There has been talk about moving to partially in-person school and partially virtual school, but as of yet, it's still completely virtual. So that's really all that I had to talk about today. Those are the 3 main things that stood out to me the most with regards to the similarities with the masks and also the differences between the United States and here in the Dominican Republic. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and that you learned something new. If you want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and press the like button. I really hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!